Everton versus Leicester City, Wednesday the 1st of July in the Premier League. Yes lads, how you all doing? Welcome back to a brand new video on the channel. Now today I'm going to bring you guys the Everton versus Leicester match preview. So after another disappointing result last time out for the Foxes, this time in FA Cup action as we were knocked out of the cup after Chelsea beat us 1-0 at the King Power Stadium, we now return to the Premier League once again as Leicester make the trip up to Goodison Park to take on Everton on Wednesday night. And it's fair to say this game is must win for Leicester if you want to secure a Champions League spot for next season. But just before we get into it, make sure a big thumbs up down below on today's video if you guys enjoyed today's Everton versus Leicester match preview. The content is still coming thick and fast to your screens, even though Leicester are not doing the greatest at the moment, it's fair to say. So go and cheer me up and go and drop a like down below on today's video, guys. While you're down there, make sure you see my face on your screen before. We are on the road to 1,200 subscribers now. We have smashed 1,100. We are now on the road to 1.2k. So if you're on the around here, go and subscribe. I still know there's a large percentage of you guys who haven't subscribed already. It's around 60%. So that figure is still down, but let's get it to 50-50. And at least it's better than the absolutely shocking 80% before. So go and subscribe if you are new around here, people. Big thanks for all the recent support as well. While you're down there, turn on my channel post notifications so you never miss any future videos on the channel just like this one. Follow my social medias, they'll be down there. Links to all them will be in the description down below. And let me know your thoughts on the game, your score predictions in the comment section down below. But without further ado, let's get into the Everton versus Leicester match preview. So as per usual, getting straight into today's match preview, we're going to start off by talking about the oppositional side of things. Of course, we take on Everton on Wednesday night at Goodison Park. This week I've got Michael from the channel, the Blue Boys Network, to bring you Leicester fans the Everton side of things. He's got an Everton type of fan group channel, so go and subscribe. I'll put a link to his channel in the description down below. He's been on a few times, so I'm going to hand over to him now. A big thanks to him for coming on the channel, and he's going to bring you Leicester fans the Everton side of things, heading into the game on Wednesday night between Everton and Leicester down at Goodison Park.
What's going on, everyone? It's Mike from the Blue Boys Network, and I'm on your channel. Thank you ever so much for having me. Thank you for messaging me as well. Obviously, more than welcome. Happy to do live, Skypes, whatever you want. So guys, thanks for tuning into his channel. Really appreciate it. If you want to give me a sub as well, I'm the Blue Boys Network. I'm Mike from the Blue Boys Network, so I'd really appreciate it. Some of the questions I've been sent in today, I'll keep this short for you. Everton so far this season. Well, look, to be brutally honest, at the start of the season I predicted Everton would finish third. We'd finished last season really well. We'd only lost 2 games in our last 12. We were flying, you know, we beat all the big boys. We got a draw against Liverpool, drew away at Spurs. So I thought, yeah, Everton are really going to challenge it. And I saw Everton being where Leicester are. It hasn't been like that. Marco Silva at the start of the season got it wrong. He completely messed up so much. You know, we lost to Villa away, just newly promoted. We lost to Sheffield United at home. We lost to Norwich at home. You know, and these are embarrassing results for a team like Everton, who had European and, to be brutally honest, Champions League ambitions this season. So, yeah, it was disappointing. It's been a disappointing season. Where we are now, we've got Carlo Ancelotti in charge. The future's looking much brighter. The stadium's on the way. This season's a write-off. You know, this season is a write-off. It doesn't really matter where Everton finish because we're not going to hit our goal, which was Champions League football. And it looks like you guys are. So, congratulations to Leicester. But yeah, for Everton, I think if Everton can finish 7th this season, I think that is a remarkable achievement. Bearing in mind we were flirting with relegation in December. So, yeah, I'll take that. Recent form from last 5 games. Yeah, it's a bit weird. So before the break, we'd had a couple of defeats and then a draw. We got battered by Chelsea. We were robbed, in my opinion, of a 2-1 win against United. VAR gave Gylfi Sigurdsson as offside, although he did touch the ball. He wasn't really offside and the goal wasn't really in his eye, so a bit harsh in my opinion. So we would have won that game 2-1. And then we've come into this season and we've got a 0-0 draw against Liverpool game. Everton should have won. We hit the post, we had numerous opportunities in the last 10 minutes and we scored Liverpool on how to defend. So yeah, we should have beat Liverpool. And then we went up against a very stubborn Norwich side who essentially put 11 men behind the ball. And it took a corner for us to break them down and we beat them 1-0. But yeah, it's a bit hit and miss. This game can be really interesting, let's just say that. And going into this game, Leicester haven't started great since they've come back. I think they've drew and lost, I think it is. Remind me if I'm wrong, obviously. They don't seem to be creating as many chances as they were. Don't seem as fluent. Jamie Vardy on the first game looked quite hungry, but he definitely dipped off, and I think that was a draw in the end, quite a boring draw. So yeah, I think Everton win this game, and the reason I think Everton win this game is I simply think Everton have started back up better than Leicester have. I think Everton being at home, although there's no crowd, I still think it's an advantage. You know, they're used to the pitch. You know, they're used to the surroundings. You know, you stick to your rituals before the game. You know, where do you sit in the dressing room? What socks do you put on? What do you get what I mean? Just little things like that. All of that's the same for the Everton boys. It's completely different for Leicester. I think Everton win this game 1-0. I think the danger for Everton is Vardy. Defensively, you're solid usually. You know, it took a long time for you to concede a goal the other day anyway. With Soyuncu, and obviously you've got Pereira and Chilwell, Evans, depending on who plays at the back. That is a top four back four. There's no getting around that. They are a very good back four, with Schmeichel just behind, who's a great keeper. He's not a top keeper, but he's a great keeper. So the back four for you guys, if they can be solid and hold out with Richarlison, Bernard, Iwobi, Gomez, Dominic Calvert Lewin, Moise Kean, if they can keep them at bay, you'll get a result. Because if you can get the ball into the centre of midfield where you are creative, where you can hurt us, you know, when you've got your Tillemans and your Maddison, again, I don't know whether about injuries or whatever, but if you can get it into that position, Everton haven't got the same level of player to cover that. You know, we've got Tom Davies, Gylfi Sigurdsson or Andre Gomez, and none of those are particularly creative, none of those are particularly mobile, and none of those are particularly brilliant. So yeah, I think Everton win this game, but I think it's a very, very tough game. For us, look, the players that you lot need to look out for is Richarlison. Richarlison started this season again back up with some fire in his belly, some real passion, real drive, and I'm really confident that he can, you know, he can hurt you. He can hurt you. You know, Dominic Calvert Lewin again in the air can hurt you. You know, there's pace. Richarlison and Dominic Calvert Lewin, one thing they're not short of is pace and confidence, and that can hurt any team in the league. You know, we've seen it. You know, Chelsea. We've seen it against Liverpool, Man City. They can hurt teams. So they're the two that you've got to stand out for. But the other player you've got to watch out for, and this is more just for an admiration perspective, because you guys have seen Harry Maguire close up. You've seen how good he can be. Is Mason Holgate, our centre-back. He's a young lad, young English centre-back. And I'm telling you now, in my honest opinion, you guys may criticise this, fair enough, he's the best English centre-back as of right now. Yeah. So, yeah, look, it's going to be a tight game. It's going to be a good game. Thanks for watching. Really appreciate it. Fuck knows how long my slot was meant to be, but it is what it is. Guys, I'll see you soon. Make sure you subscribe to my channel as well as this one, because the lad's brilliant. He's a really top lad. He's just hit 1,000 subs. And he's climbing rapidly, you know, 1,100 subs I think he is at the minute. Man's going strength to strength. Follow him, support him, back him up. He's one of your own. Guys, I'll see you soon. Peace.
So that's it for the Everton side of things heading into the game on Wednesday night between Everton and Leicester. Like I said earlier on, a big thanks to Michael for coming on the channel. Go subscribe to his channel, I'll put a link in the description down below. But without further ado, let's get into the Leicester side of things heading into the game on Wednesday night in Merseyside. So last time out for Leicester, of course, we took on Chelsea in the FA Cup quarterfinals at the King Power Stadium, and we lost 1-0, another disappointing result, another poor performance. Of course, Ross Barkley's goal separated into two sides to send Chelsea through to the FA Cup semi-finals and to dump Leicester out of the FA Cup again for another year at the quarter-final stages. It was another very poor performance at the King Power Stadium. However, it was slightly improved from the Brighton performance. In the first 20 minutes or so, Leicester looked like a real threat, but it just died off towards the end. I think Brendan Rodgers had to take some kind of blame for it as well. His substitutions were just absolutely shocking. I'm not going to talk about this too much. Obviously, it is an Everton versus Leicester preview, but that performance alone just doesn't fill me with confidence, and it just continues to pile on the pressure for Leicester just to get their first win of the restart. And it's going to be difficult if you are going to get it. Hopefully we can get it on Wednesday night, but it's going to be difficult. But the main thing is we have to walk away from Goodison Park with at least a point in the worst case scenario. But of course, since the Premier League restarted a few weeks ago, we've only picked up 2 points out of a possible 6, 2 draws against Watford and Brighton. I'm going to say again, no disrespect to those two teams, but for Leicester challenging for Champions League football, for God's sake, we have to be picking the 3 points in at least the Brighton game. That's a minimum expectation. And the performances since football's came out in the FA Cup and in the Premier League have simply been not acceptable. I think some of the blame for the Chelsea game and for most of the games does have to go to Brendan Rodgers, but the overall performance of the side is just not looking good at all, and I'm not confident at all heading into the reins of the season. I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. I don't really know where a win's going to come from Leicester. We barely created any chances, and with teams like Wolves, Manchester United, Chelsea all closing on us, it's only 1 point behind Chelsea. When the Premier League came back, it was about an 8-point gap. Now that's 1. That really sums it up in my opinion. It's been a very, very poor start. And if this continues, I think we can really bottle Champions League and possibly even bottle Europa League, which should be an absolute mare for Leicester considering how good of a season we've had so far. Hopefully we can turn things around, and hopefully that can start against Everton on Wednesday night. But I'm just not confident. Just with the games we've played so far, we just look like a completely different side. So moving on to the game itself then, Everton away on Wednesday night, a very, very difficult game. Everton have been in decent form since the Premier League has restarted. I think they got a win against Norwich and a draw against Liverpool, which is not a bad result at all. I think the Norwich performance wasn't the best, but obviously it's just to get a point against Liverpool, the Premier League champions now, that is a very good result. So to be honest, I'm not confident at all. But the game on Wednesday night, it simply must win for the Foxes, and we have to come away with Goodison Park with at least a point, just at a minimum. I think even a point, I think we have to have a good performance. And just with Everton playing so well at the moment, it's going to be very, very difficult. Carlo Ancelotti is always going to be a difficult manager to beat. And am I confident? No, not at all. We could get absolutely battered once again. I've said it before. Chelsea, yeah, we only lost 1-0. It wasn't a bad performance. It kind of was. It was good in parts. But in the first 20 minutes against Chelsea, if we could do that against Everton, have clinical edges, we could manage to win the game. But Everton, it's an absolutely massive game, I think. It's one of the biggest games of the season. If we don't come away with Goodison Park with at least a point, or hopefully 3 points, I think we could really bottle Champions League football. This game starts the run of a very, very tough run of fixtures towards the end of the season for the Foxes. So hopefully, on a more positive side, hopefully this can be the game where we kickstart our form, kickstart our season, restart everything, a complete refresh. Hopefully we can get there with passion, fire, and hopefully try and get the 3 points. But it's going to be difficult. Goodison Park is always a difficult place to go, even with no fans. We saw that between Everton and Liverpool since the Premier League restarted a few weeks ago. So it's going to be a very, very difficult game. So hopefully we can at least come away with Goodison Park with at least a point. But 3 points are needed, just like I said a few times. I think if we don't get 3 points, I think we can really slip away from securing even Europa League football, which would be a massive shame. So hopefully we can manage to get the win. Hopefully, I do have a slight feeling that we can go to Goodison Park and get the win. Obviously, we beat them in the Carabao Cup there on penalties, and we also beat them in the league. A very, very dramatic. It was dramatic in both games. A 2-2 at Goodison Park and a 2-1 at the King Power Stadium earlier on this season. Last season at Goodison Park, we did beat them 1-0 on New Year's Day. Jamie Vardy with the goal. So hopefully we can continue a slight bit of good form at Goodison Park, and hopefully we can get at Everton. But Everton are always a dangerous team. A very good attack players like Richarlison and Calbert Lewin in there. Defensive wise, they're not the strongest, but at the moment, neither are Leicester. So it's going to be an interesting game. I think it will be an open game again, but I just hope Leicester can just have a good performance. I don't care if you have a bad performance and win, but if you have a good performance and lose, at this point of the season, we need to be turning poor performances into wins if we can. But obviously, it is an unprecedented situation. It's going to be very difficult with the players, obviously, without fans. So obviously, but some teams are doing quite well. Wolves, Manchester United, Chelsea, all doing well. Southampton even in there as well. So why can't we? It was the same bunch of players who got us into this position between October and November, when Leicester were absolutely firing on all fronts. So I don't know what's happened with Leicester, but it's a fresh start on Wednesday. We're back in Premier League action. Hopefully we can turn our form around, and hopefully we can kickstart a good end of the season with hopefully 3 points on Wednesday night. So with that being said, moving on to my score prediction then. I'm going to go with an Everton 1, Leicester 1. I think the points will be shared. It'll be all square at Goodison Park on the night. And to be perfectly honest, I think a point won't be the worst results ever. Like I said, Goodison Park is always a difficult place to go. Obviously, it's a very unprecedented situation. It's going to be difficult for the players, but it's just a bit weird how some teams are doing so well and Leicester just completely fell off. So it's a bit random, but I'm going to go with a 1-1 draw. And to be honest, that won't be the worst of results, even though we have to be getting 3 points. A lot of big teams do struggle at Goodison Park. So a point won't be the worst of results, but it won't won't be the best. We need to get the 3 points, but I will settle for a point, and that's what I think will happen. I'm going to go with Richarlison to get the Everton goal, and for Leicester, I'm going to go with Dennis Praet to get the goal. I think he performed very, very well against Chelsea, but we'll come on to him in a few minutes' time. But yeah, I'm going to go with an Everton 1, Leicester City 1. Hopefully, we can at least get a point at Goodison Park, and hopefully that can kickstart a good run of form towards the end of the season, which is needed if you are going to secure Champions League football. So that's it for the Everton side of things, my thoughts on the game and my score prediction. So moving on to the predicted lineup, this is the side I think Brendan Rodgers will go to start against Everton on Wednesday night at Goodison Park. To start off in goal, I'm going to go with Kasper Schmeichel, another outstanding performance against Chelsea. This is the most guaranteed position in the whole team. Kasper Schmeichel, 100% in there, club captain, and he's shown real fight. You can see in the Chelsea game, he was absolutely fuming. I mean, Ben Chilwell wasn't, but we'll move on to that in a few minutes' time. But yeah, Kasper Schmeichel has to start in goal for me. He's been absolutely brilliant. The best player since football has returned for Leicester, and hopefully he can have another good performance. Even if he doesn't, we can't blame Kasper for any of it, because his performances so far have saved us in every game. He's made some absolutely cracking saves. So Schmeichel starts in goal for me on Wednesday night. Moving into the back four then, to start off at right back, I'm going to be going with James Justin. Not the best of performances, but not the worst against Chelsea. I think he did improve. He didn't really do too much defensively. He was alright. I think the goal came down Ben Chilwell's side, so it was average performance from James Justin. But hopefully back in league action he can get at Everton. He was quick. He's going forward. First 20 minutes Leicester were pushed up everywhere, pressing high. Even the fullbacks, Chilwell and Justin looked very attacking in the first 20 minutes. But that just, I don't know what happened. It's very weird. But yeah, I think Justin can have another half decent game against Everton. Hopefully he can come and be solid defensively. Obviously, if he could be up against Richarlison, which is going to be very difficult, but hopefully Justin can be solid defensively, get forward and cause Everton some problems. Moving into the two centre-halves, I'm going to be going with Evans and Kagler. It wasn't the best performances against Chelsea. I think it was Johnny Evans and Soyuncu made a slight mistake defensively. Wilfred Ndidi in there as well, who allowed Ross Barkley to score. But them two have been consistent literally all season, so we can't really blame them for too much. Hopefully they can have another solid performance against Everton. I think they will coming up against players like Calbert Lewin. They're going to have to be wary. They're going to have to be on point. They're going to have to be concentrated for large periods of the game. So hopefully them two can have a solid performance against Everton. Now, moving into left back, for me, I'm going to go with Christian Fuchs. Simply just because of what Ben Chilwell did. I'm sorry, but you just got knocked out of the cup and then you start laughing 10 seconds out of kick-off to Ross Barkley or whoever it is. I don't care. If you're going to go to Chelsea, you go Chilwell. I'll drive you myself. I'm not going to start this as a Ben Chilwell rant because it wasn't a good performance from anyone. It's not based on performance, it's just based on his actions after the game. Christian Fuchs comes in at left back for me. I don't really care. I think Chilwell, just after the final whistle, it really did annoy me. I think you saw that if you did watch my stream. So Christian Fuchs comes in at left back for me. Hopefully Christian can have a good game defensively. Obviously, defensive-wise, Christian Fuchs has got it. Going forward, yeah, he's not as good as Ben Chilwell, but he's always got that threat of the long throw, which could be vital later on. But no, the manager is Brendan Rodgers, and we'll bring no one on later on, even if we're losing. So I don't even know why I said that. But yeah, I'm joking. Hopefully Christian can have a good game at left back. Moving into the midfield three, then, to start off in the defensive role, I'm going to go with Wilfred Ndidi. And much better. It's a decent performance from Wilf against Chelsea. I wouldn't really say much better, but it was definitely improved from the Brighton performance. Obviously, he's on his own. He was the only CDM against. Well, I don't think it was for a while because Hamza Chowdhury came on, which was another stupid decision from Brendan. But in the first half, Wilf did look very good. So hopefully he can follow that FA Cup performance up with another good performance in the Premier League against Everton on Wednesday. Moving ahead of him, I'm going to go with Dennis Praet to start. Why was Dennis Praet replaced so early in the Chelsea game? I know he's been injured for a while, but he was probably the best player on the pitch in my opinion for large periods of the game, especially early on. Really did control the midfield, linked up play, and I think him going next to Youri Tielemans did really benefit Youri Tielemans as well. So hopefully Dennis Praet can come in and have a good game against Everton on Wednesday night. So hopefully Dennis Praet can at least play a large portion of the game. I'm going to go alongside him with Youri Tielemans. James Maddison is still struggling with a slight injury, so hopefully Youri Tielemans can come in and have a good game. I think Youri did have an improved performance against Chelsea. Obviously, him and Dennis Praet both play alongside each other for the Belgium international squad. So hopefully them two can have another good performance. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with James Maddison. Obviously, he's suffering with a slight injury. It's not too severe, so hopefully James should be back for the game against Crystal Palace on Saturday. But yeah, midfield three, Wilfred Ndidi in the defensive role, Dennis Praet and Youri Tielemans. Hopefully them three can have a good performance. Like I said, I think the midfield battle is going to be very, very important in the game. The game could be won and lost here. I think the game was lost against Chelsea because of that, just because of Frank Lampard's change in midfield. Of course, he brought on Kovacic in there and Ross Barkley, which completely changed the game. So hopefully them three can have a good performance in midfield. So moving into the front three then, to start off in the left wing position, I'm going to be going with Harvey Barnes. It was an improved performance against Chelsea, but his composure once again wasn't the greatest. He had some big chances, but we just have to take the positives. He was in the right place. He was in that position to have the chances. His first touch was good to just to set in for those shots, but his shooting in the end wasn't the greatest. But obviously he's only young, and I think that will come in time. Moving into the right wing, I'm going to go with Ayoze Perez. It was a better performance from him as well. I think we should go with the usual front three, which in fact got Leicester into this third place position. So hopefully Ayoze can have another good game, link up with players like Dennis Praet, Youri Tielemans in the middle, which I think he did. And I think Perez can come into the midfield and allow James Justin to bomb forward as well. Because obviously Ayoze Perez isn't the type of quickest player. He's good at linking up players, sliding players through, etc. As finally moving up front, I'm going to be going with Jamie Vardy. I found this one difficult actually, because I was thinking of Kelechi actually coming in. Obviously Vardy hasn't been the greatest at the moment. He's struggling. He hasn't really got any chances. But hopefully Vardy, all it takes is one goal for Vardy to fire back into form, and hopefully that comes against Everton. He usually does score against Everton as well, especially at Goodison Park. So hopefully with players like Dennis Praet and Youri Tielemans midfield, he can get the service. I think he got more service in the Chelsea game. I think, especially in his first 20 minutes, the front three and even the midfield were really pressing high. Hopefully we can do that for the whole game against Everton and hopefully cause him some problems. Well, I'm going to go with Jamie Vardy to start off from. So the front three would be Barnes in the left wing position, Perez out wide in the right, and Jamie Vardy up front. So then, boys and girls, that is it for the Everton versus Leicester match preview. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section down below, your score predictions, all of that stuff in the comment section down below. I want to hear what you Leicester fans, you Everton fans are thinking ahead of this huge game on Wednesday night at Goodison Park for both sides. It's very, very important, especially for a Leicester point of view. But if you have gone on to enjoy today's video, go and drop a like, subscribe if you haven't already. The live watch along will be on the channel as well on Wednesday night. So hopefully we can get the 3 points. But yeah, guys, that is it for the Everton versus Leicester match preview. I've been SPORTSA, and I'll see you all in my next video. Peace out.